Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take the next few minutes, if I may, to acknowledge a very good friend of mine, indeed a very good friend to the entire filmmaking community in the Mid-Atlantic region, Mr. George Stover. George! Some of you, perhaps, are not familiar with that. And for those of you bereft of association, I'll go ahead and I'll just point you no further, at least to Roulette, where we all saw him a little while ago as the therapist, Dr. Temple. Now, Roulette is not George's first film. George has been a regular face in the acting community for more than 30 years now, ever since 1974, when he first appeared in John Waters' trash masterpiece, Female Trouble. And he appeared in the very small but very memorable role of the prison chaplain who walks divine to the electric chair. Spoiler alert again. At any rate, if you will permit me an annoying but brief autobiographical aside, Female Trouble was the very first busted knuckle indie that I ever saw. I saw it at the age of 14. It completely blew my mind. And it inspired me to walk a path that's led me here today in front of all of you. Now, when it came time to direct Roulette, which was my first feature film, and I had the incredible opportunity to cast Mr. George Stover, I was over the moon. Now, at the time, I was working in radio, as was pointed out before, and I was coming into almost daily contact with celebrities of all sorts, so I was not easily starstruck, I was not easily impressed. George Stover, however, was a completely different situation. I mean, removing the fact that he was in one of my favorite films, and one that inspired me so much, the man is an icon. The man is a legend. I mean, he's been in everything. If a film shoots in the Baltimore area, George Stover is in it. If a film shoots in the Baltimore area and George Stover is not in it, then George Stover was mowing the lawn that day. George Stover was doing his taxes. He had the flu and just didn't feel like coming out. I mean, that's just the simple truth. He is that prolific. So, as I said, if we really want to go there, actors in this area, when they want to play 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, they use George Stover as a starting point. So when I had this opportunity, as much as I was not easily starstruck, I was starstruck. Because again, he is an icon, he is a legend, he casts a mighty shadow. We had Ethan Meyer, who was doing an ongoing series of production featurettes about the making of Roulette, come out just to chronicle George's involvement in the film. That's how excited he was. And in fact, everyone that was on set who knew of his reputation was equally thrilled, and those who were not aware of his reputation became fans very, very quickly. So I would be remiss if I neglected all of the films that George has done between Female Trouble and Roulette and afterwards. However, I can't name them all. I mean, as of 2012, he's been in over 50 film projects, and they're going to kick us out of this room at some point. So I'll say simply that he has been in every genre known to man, including many that so we saw movies we didn't know those genres existed. He's done horror, he's done comedy, he's done thrillers, he's done action-adventure, film noir, Nancy Drew mystery-style television shows, sci-fi. If it exists, George has done it. He's worked with legends like Fred Olen Ray, like Don Dohler. He's worked with some of our local success stories in the Baltimore area, like Kevin Kangas and Chris LaMartina. And he's not just an actor. I mean, he's also a writer, and he's also an editor. He wrote the Black Oracle publication. He also did the Cinemacabre. He's a contributor to Gods in Polyester and Gods in Spandex, all of which are covering the history and ongoing evolution of cult and independent cinema. He's very, very important. His importance in this area cannot be underestimated. Everyone that has worked on a film in this area has worked with George. If they have not worked with George, then everyone else on set that day has worked with George. He means that much to us. And this was never so apparent, so crystal clear, as when last month we nearly lost George to a senseless and random act of violence. Earlier this year, George came home one evening to surprise an intruder who shot him in the neck and left him dead. For this to happen to any of us, anyone in this room or outside of this room, is a terrible, terrible thing. But for George, someone who is so gentle in spirit and so generous, so optimistic, and more than anything else, so very, very kind, it made it all the more appalling. And for those of us, when we heard the initial reports, we feared that we had lost him, and that perhaps we would never have that opportunity to tell him what he means to us as individuals, but also what he means to us in terms of the film community and the family that we've established. But we didn't lose him. That's the thing. That's the amazing part about it. In an age where miracles are so few and far between, it was truly miraculous. We didn't lose him. The law of averages dictates that based upon what happened to him, we probably should have lost him. But we didn't. And that is a reason to celebrate. It is a reason to be grateful. I don't know what good luck George possesses. And it is good luck. I remember the first time that I talked to the documentary camera, when I worked with him the first time, I said that having someone so intrinsically involved in the film that had so clearly defined the path I was walking in life, having him in my first feature was like a rabbit's foot. It was a good luck charm. He is indeed lucky. But I think to just summarize it as luck truly undersells George Stover as an individual. It's his strength and his endurance, his perseverance, something that we can see if we chart the history of his career, that something that becomes all the more poignant when we take recent events into consideration. And if he is possessed, indeed, of uncommon good luck, then perhaps that good luck is for our benefit, so that we can continue to love and appreciate him, the work that he has done, and the work that he will continue to do. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present Mr. George Stover on behalf of the Hot Media International Film Festival, the Lifetime Achievement in Independent Film, because if we all step back just a moment, we look at all the projects that we're seeing here tonight that we're awarding, and all the projects that are going on outside of this room, and the ones that we're all dreaming about doing with me here. And we view them as puzzle pieces, wildly diverse from one another, but still connecting and forming a larger picture of who we collectively are as filmmakers, as writers, as directors, as actors, as cinematographers, editors, composers, who we collectively are as a community. That George is undeniably the centerpiece who connects all of us and connects us all to Kevin Bacon. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll all join me in a very warm hand for Mr.
I was checking my notes yesterday and I found out that it was exactly to the day 38 years ago that I made my motion picture debut. It was March 31st, 1974, a Sunday, and I shot my scene in John Waters' Female Trouble with Divine in the Baltimore City Jail. And of course, 38 years ago, I was just a little child. Put me up on stand on a few apple boxes and put old age makeup to make me look an adult, because obviously 38 years ago I wasn't that, I had to have been a child because I'm only 39 today. But back in those days, seriously, I was working with people my own age, like John Waters, who's the same age as I am, Don Bowler, Don Bowler was the same age as I am. And now I'm working with a whole new generation of people. A lot of the directors who are casting me now are young enough to be my sons. So I guess that makes me feel kind of old, but in my heart I'm young, and I really believe God gave me a second chance a few weeks ago. Went in there and came out there. It's at 22, luckily. I use the word luckily describing that situation, but so many people have told me I was lucky that night, and I'm not sure what the purpose was that I have for living again, but I guess I'll find out sooner or later. But this is a good start, let me tell you. This is a beautiful trophy. I really appreciate it. So I guess I better not babble on anymore. Thanks to everybody for making this possible.
That's the Lifetime Achievement Award, but you know what? They always give it to people before they finish their lifetime. So just remember, George, today is the first day of the next lifetime that you're going on, and we're glad to have you.
Sir.
Next award is a special award.
Plus, I cannot, there's no way that I can top that Erik speech. It's really well done. Thank you, Erik. Well, let me tell you, this award should have been given last year. This guy is a very dear friend of mine. I met him back in 2005, and I've been working with a lot of people, and when they come and go, but this guy always stay with me. And this guy's been around for a long, long time. He's been in my project side by side, and in fact, he's responsible for getting me out there in terms of music. Me and him